All right, everybody. Welcome to week 11 of the football pick'ems for myself, Piccadilly, and Drizzle. We are going to be recapping week 10, which went a lot worse than week 9 did, and then getting into our week 11 picks and going over our locks of the week as we did last week. So, without further ado, let's jump right into it. Welcome, gentlemen. It's week 11. We made
Hello.
it. Hello.
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 We made it. It was brutal, but
It
we're
It
here.
was terrible.
That was a rough week.
Let's look real quick. We'll recap week 10. Couple upsets. I don't know if any of them were as shocking as last week's. Baltimore, a little shocking. Tampa, a little shocking. But like Arizona, the Rams, like not crazy I think just compared to the Bills losing last week, it's just it was just kind of crazy. So
I think
congratulations.
Arizona losing though was kind of just after their last week when they just blew out with Colt McCoy as their backup quarterback.
Yeah, that's true. We'll see what happens this week. So can't hear Drizzle. Okay, let's turn him up a little bit.
Turn up that man.
Hello?
Hello?
Can you hear me
Bryce
now?
needs to speak with his chest.
I do have a big chest, so.
All right, there we go. Congratulations to both of you on landing your locks of the week. Piccadilly with the Tennessee pick and Drizzle with the New England pick. I unfortunately went with Arizona, the Colt McCoy led Arizona Cardinals, which was a mistake. So their reward is they get an extra win for their win-loss record. Still not enough to catch me though. So they're still 2 games back going into week 11.
It barely helps us.
Barely. All right.
I mean, we're only down by what, 3 now?
2.
Is it 2?
Yeah.
I look at the wrong. 2. Okay,
Yeah.
so are we? Okay, yeah, we are counting that then. Okay, so
Yeah.
I mean, anything could happen. Keeping it close.
It's no. All it takes is one bad week. I think this week too, I might be putting myself out there because I think I got some counter picks. So, let's hop into week 11 then. So we've got, oh boy, that was a mistake. Don't want to click what I just clicked. All right, so this Thursday's game, we've got New England at Atlanta. New England giving 7, starting off the week with a road favorite. These Thursday night games have been tough. New England coming off a big win over a depleted Cleveland team. Atlanta looked real bad. With that said, I think New England's rolling. The defense is playing really well. Atlanta is probably going to be without Cordell Patterson possibly. So I think we get back to some normalcy on Thursday, and I think New England comes into Atlanta and gets the W.
Yeah, no, I'm also taking New England on this, and I assume Bryce would probably be taking them as well. So our luck is that based off of previous Thursdays, Atlanta's going to win like 75 to like 2.
Yeah.
I agree with both of you guys. I think New England, I just think they hit their stride, especially after last week. They're just in another gear, and Belichick has them playing well. I don't want to dig myself too big of a hole, but I wouldn't be surprised if Atlanta keeps it close. Atlanta seems to be one of those teams that just kind of every now and then surprises us. So
Yeah.
I'll be surprised, but New England's definitely the pick for me.
Yeah, I think that one's a pretty obvious one. All right.
I'm hoping you're right that we see a bit more of normalcy this week, that we're done seeing these insane upsets.
Yeah, I mean it's the NFL. I'm assuming it's still going to continue this week, but hopefully we pick them this week instead of being shocked by them. What's up, Bay? Thanks for stopping by. All right, on to the next pick or the next game. We've got Detroit visiting Cleveland. Cleveland giving 11.5, which I find kind of weird considering they just got demolished by New England. They should be getting Nick Chubb back. Unsure on Baker Mayfield. Jared Goff also dealing with a pec injury. So I think this actually has a sneaky overplay here. I think Cleveland's defense not that good. Detroit obviously sucks. But I think they can score. But they're also coming off that OT game where DeAndre Swift carried the ball like 10,000 times. So you might see a little different offense from Detroit. But I think Cleveland, after kind of getting embarrassed, there's a get right, bounce back kind of show that they're playoff contenders still. So I will be going with the Browns at home. Probably not taking the points if I'm betting, but I will be taking the Browns.
So listen, Detroit is due for an actual win. Right?
Oh,
they're no, hold on. They're not destined to go. Was it 0-17, 0-18, whatever the amount of games is?
That's cool, babe.
Because they just changed.
Yeah, just hit me up. I'll be around.
However, I don't think it's against the Browns. I think it's going to be next week against the Bears on Thanksgiving.
Oh,
so this week I'm taking Cleveland, but next week, watch out.
We're gonna have to talk later.
I like that. I like the little teaser for next week too that you just threw in there. Very professional.
Yeah.
I think Cleveland wins. I think they could score 35 on their own, so I definitely think it's an overpick. But I just don't see. I don't even know who Detroit's backup is. So if Goff can't go, I don't know.
Is it still David Blau?
It might be the Purdue quarterback, or went to Purdue.
Like if Goff's been this bad, I fully expect their backup to be just as worse if they've decided to stay with.
Do you think it go back to what Rain said last week? It's like the Detroit syndrome where they go there and then they forget what football is, how to play, and just are terrible. Like, I'm surprised Stafford played so well for all the years he was there. Yeah. So, man, it must be rough to be a Detroit Lions fan.
I think it is. It's a tortured existence for sure.
Yeah.
All right, our next game, we'll let Piccadilly intro here since it's his team.
Bro, okay, listen, they looked just impeccable against the Rams last week. Everything was just clicking. Like, there were, as far as I'm aware, like barely any drop passes from Garoppolo to like Debo, Kittle. I think there was like a couple. Defense was just tearing the Rams apart. I didn't catch a lot of the Jaguar game, but they kept it close to the Colts. What was it, like 23-17, I think was the final score.
Yeah.
It wasn't enough to secure the win. I can see this game being close because of, like, I don't know, man, like the Jaguars are still showing a little bit of signs of life, but they're just not quite there yet. And if the Niners defense can stay the way it is, I feel like here's my bold prediction: they're going on a hot streak for the rest of the year, and they're probably going undefeated. Just my non-biased opinion.
Whoa.
You got a couple teasers already.
I'm shook that you think they're actually good.
Did we watch the same games?
Yeah, they got blown out by Colt McCoy in Arizona 2 weeks ago.
From this week forward, all right? We're not talking about what happened the previous weeks. We're talking about this week forward.
All right, fair. So you're going with San Fran, Bryce?
Yeah. I think Jacksonville's definitely playing better. They put more points on the board against Indy, but I don't think Indy's too good anyway. They're just mediocre at best. And that leads into San Francisco. I think they're a mediocre team, and they can play like they did last week, or they can lay an egg like they did 2 weeks ago. But then again, it's Jacksonville. I don't see them winning. Taking San Francisco.
I like it. I do not want to have to pick this game straight up, honestly. I think the play would be to actually take the points with Jacksonville, especially after the 49ers get a huge emotional divisional win. Kind of keeps them in the hunt. But like, I just can't trust Urban Meyer to do anything. Even the win against the Bills, like they only scored 9 points. They scored 17 last week. Like that's just not going to get it done in the NFL. I don't think they can score enough. I also don't think they have anybody that can cover Debo. As much as I just hate the prediction that San Fran is winning out, which is just unbelievable to me, I will also be going with San Fran here. All right. I believe you have the next game as well, sir.
Yeah. So this one, it's same with the other one I'm going to talk about too. It's a bit of a toss up for me because like both teams, they'll look good and then they'll be shaky.
Let's go Mets.
Look good and then they'll be shaky. Uh,
Thank you, Emily. Let's go Mets.
I watched a bit of the Colts game. I wasn't able to catch all of it. I wasn't able to catch most of like the noon block. But with the Jags keeping it as close as they did to the Colts, that worries me a bit about how they're going to play against the Bills because like the Bills had their revenge game, fucking, and they just destroyed the Jets. Was it 45-17? So they probably blew off like some much needed steam after that Jaguars game. And I don't think they carry that into this week, but I feel like we'll see some sort of aggression, and I am going with the Bills on it. I think it'll be close. Honestly, this might go. I could see this going into overtime, or Bills winning it by like a field goal. Like it's going to be real close, but I see the Bills taking it.
Yep. Right.
So I don't know if I trust Buffalo. But they are talent-wise probably one of the best top to bottom in the AFC. I just think they'll be too much. They're in Buffalo, Indianapolis. Again, like I said, they have a good running game, but I just think they're not like the talent isn't there. So I'm gonna go Buffalo. Keep it short and sweet.
All right. I was actually torn on this one. This was probably the best game of the playoffs last year. Was the Indy Buffalo game. Obviously, this is an upgraded Indy team. I think they still have a great offensive line. Carson Wentz is an upgrade over Phillip Rivers. But Buffalo's defense is still elite. They might actually still be, the best defense in the league. I don't know how much of a it was a get right game against the Jets, but I don't know how much you can really take away from if they're fixed or not over from like the last couple games against Miami and Jacksonville. This is another game where I'd probably be taking the underdog if I was betting the spread and not just doing straight up pick'ems. But in Buffalo, nobody circles the wagons like the Bills, as we know. I'm going to use that line every week if I can, every time I pick them. And I will also be taking Buffalo.
So we're all going through tables if they lose, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
No, soupy. No.
Soup.
Sorry.
Ooh.
I forgot what I was going to say. Some distraction.
There he is.
I completely lost my train of thought. Oh, they scored 45 points, and Dawson Knox got 2 on my fantasy team. So,
Yeah, first game back after a long layoff, though. Soup.
Hey, buddy.
There he is. Soup.
So I'm hoping
this is what the people are here for.
They can make it up a little bit and get Knox more than like a single touch.
Yeah. All right. Moving on to our next game.
This will be a fun one.
Miami visiting the Jets. Miami giving 3.5. We got announcement today that Joe Flacco is starting for the Jets. Tua is starting for Miami. This game is another tough one to pick. It's a home divisional game. The Jets just got embarrassed by the Bills, and Miami is coming off of a massive win over Baltimore. And Miami has looked a lot better. It seems like they're figuring it out on defense, which really, really makes me want to take the Jets, especially because they got embarrassed, and usually teams want to have that like show me game, and I just don't know if Joe Flacco is the guy to do that. So I can't believe I'm picking the Dolphins, but I will be picking the Dolphins here.
Yeah, I'm going with the Dolphins as well. It's such a like it feels like a trap game. Like I want to pick the Jets so bad. Like I feel like this is like the game that comes out where like Flacco just goes off, but
Right.
he's not a good quarterback at all. So it's like real hard to be like maybe the Jets do it. I don't think so. The Miami defense being very rush heavy. Flacco's getting sacked probably like 7 times that game. Like
Yeah.
it's gonna be like every other play he's getting sacked.
We love Tua.
Yeah.
Are you a Tua household?
Yeah, we're a two.
You're a Tua household? Is that the Alabama ties? Sorry,
Yeah.
Bryce. Yeah, okay.
No, you're fine.
We love Tua.
Joe Flacco probably is just collecting a paycheck. So I don't know how many more starts he has in his career. And I would probably say that this is the last one.
Yeah.
Saying that, if it was Mike White or even Zach Wilson starting for the Jets, I might lean towards them because these two teams they've been bad this year. But Miami coming off that win, Tua's starting. Yeah, Miami. I don't think I need to say much more.
Yeah. This is another game that if you're betting the spread, I would probably take the points with the Jets though. Just because it's a home dog in a divisional matchup. All right. Washington visiting Carolina, a Carolina team that is now led by Cam Newton, giving 3.5. They looked good against the Saints, right? They played the Saints last week. What? No,
yes.
no, they played Arizona last week.
Cardinals.
Yeah, they played Arizona. Kind of embarrassed Arizona. Washington came out and got a crazy upset victory against Tampa. And Antonio Gibson looked good. That offense seemed to look good. Even without Chase Young, that defense seemed to get it together. Carolina, I think this is an overplay. I think there's going to be some scoring, even though both defenses have been playing pretty well. But Carolina's not a good team. I don't know Cam in his first start, how much he can really learn the playbook in time. Washington, I think, can move the ball against them. I don't know if they have an answer for Terry McLaurin on Carolina's end. And I think they wasted, or not wasted, but like that, the come down from beating up on the Cardinals I think they're going to come out a little flat. So I will be going with the Washington football team.
See, I kind of disagree. I think, Cam basically played the entire game while I was like out the first bit of the first half. I know there's that whole thing we talked about before where, if you have someone who doesn't regularly start, there isn't really any tape on, the way they play. And I feel like even last week against the Cardinals, like I see it being one more game before they start to get figured out again.
Yeah.
You are right, they're not a good team, but they still have like honestly, I'd say they have a better defense than Tampa. Like Tampa has like an average defense, right? They have an average defense, but an insane offense that keeps them where they are, and Washington was able to take advantage of that. I don't think they'll be able to do the same against Carolina. So I'm going with Carolina.
Fair points.
Yeah, so Washington's defense suffered a major blow with Chase Young. I think it was a torn ACL, so he's out for the season.
Yep.
And then also to Rain's point, it looks like Cam Newton is starting, but it's not set in stone. He's taking first team reps. I just don't know if he plays the whole game. But I think Washington, after that high against Tampa Bay, I don't think they can put it back to like 2 weeks in a row back to back. I think Carolina just be too much for him, so I'm going to take Carolina.
All right, our first dissension in the ranks is on a game that no one cares about
Absolutely.
except people in those cities. All right, turning it over to Bryce for his team, the Chicago Bears.
All right, so this game will be more about the Chicago Bears than the Baltimore Ravens, even if the Ravens lose 2 weeks in a row. Um, the Bears are on a 4-game losing streak. If they lose this game, I think that's the writing on the wall for Matt Nagy. They'll be close to a 6-game losing streak, 2 years in a row, and his offense just hasn't been able to put it together. And then I think Baltimore will be upset after playing an absolute terrible game against Miami. And they're coming off the Thursday game, so they have a little more time to prepare. I'm going to go with the Baltimore Ravens, unfortunately, as a homer for
Ooh,
Chicago Bears fan.
I thought your
But
setup was leading you to pick the Bears.
I did too.
I was you baited me. You Rick rolled me.
yeah, I just think it's going to be too much. Lamar, and I don't think the Bears will be able to put it together.
So I think the Ravens have been figured out because you can't rely on Lamar being RB1 the entire time. And this is my dissension. I think this is where the Bears are going to get a big win going into Thanksgiving, so that the hype is riding real high, and then they're going to get destroyed by Detroit. So Bears are taking this one.
Destroyed? You're even going a step further?
I think we may need to have save it for next week, but we may need to have a little side bet for next week. All right. Well, we got a Bears pick, maybe the only one of the rest of the season, to be honest.
I think so.
So I think both points valid. I think Justin Fields is figuring it out. He's looked better the 2 weeks prior to the bye. Both teams have obviously had extra rest, with Baltimore playing the Thursday game. I think the differentiator for me here is that Baltimore is just the much better coached team. I have more faith that John Harbaugh can put together a game plan against the Bears than Matt Nagy can put together a game plan on any amount of rest. And Baltimore just got embarrassed by the Dolphins, had a lot of time to think about it. And I think that they're going to come out hungry. I think this could be one of those Lamar 400-yard passing, 100-yard rushing, looks like he's playing college type games.
If that happens, Nagy gets fired on Monday.
I mean, we can discuss that if you want. I don't think the Bears have never fired a coach in season, ever.
Yeah, and that just goes back to the whole McCaskey, it doesn't make sense. And it's like, does it matter? Like, we've been doing this since 2018 in week 12, where your offense has been absolutely atrocious.
Yeah,
you can't put anything together.
I don't think this is the ownership group that's going to be trendsetters, you know? Like it's been this the same. Like they're just going to wait till the end of the year if at all. They're probably going to end up winning like the last 4 games of the year and look better, and then they'll give him one more year to work with Fields, cuz that'll be they're like, well, he wasn't really supposed to start this year. So, we'll just give him one more year to, work on Fields. So, that's my prediction, that you'll see Nagy and Pace back, unfortunately, again next year to ruin yet another quarterback's career.
All right, well, I'm going to cry.
All right. I believe you have the next one as well.
I do. So this is an interesting matchup. I picked Philly to beat Denver last week, and that proved right. And then the Saints didn't play too bad, but couldn't pull out the upset against Tennessee. This is at Philly. I think this is a toss-up. I don't know. I think Philly's a mediocre team, and I think the same with New Orleans, especially without Jameis. The total is at over in 5 of New Orleans' last 6 games, by the way. Thought that was interesting. So I think that'll definitely go over 43.5. It's a bit of a low number. But I think at home, I think Philly's going to pull it out, and I'm taking Philly.
All right.
These
Go
two teams,
go Birds.
Go Birds!
100% go Birds. Like I'm picking Philly, but these two teams, I like. If you're looking back at like their schedule, they'll just have games where they just absolutely dominate, or they keep it like real close. Like if I go back to week 1, Eagles beat the Falcons 32-6. The Saints, who did they play? 38-3 against the Packers. Next week, Saints lose 26-7. Eagles lose 17-11. The week after that, the Saints destroy the Patriots 28-13. The Eagles get destroyed 41-21, but then they keep it close. It's like it's a weird just up and downhill motion from both of these teams, and it's really hard to like decipher like which version of the team you're gonna get this week. And I'm going with Birds. Always go Birds. Like I think they just look better. I don't think there's been any news on was it Kamara?
He
As far
returned
as
to
I'm aware,
practice
like
today.
did he return to? Okay, I was
Yeah.
gonna say I didn't see any updates, so people were thinking that he like got taken out back and like shot, and they're hiding the body. Like they're just like, he's just, what do you mean he was never on the team? Like stop asking.
Yeah.
About
Who?
him.
Alvin? Who?
Uh,
Alvin and the Chipmunks?
Yeah, I don't know. If I'm looking at like recent games, like within last week, the Saints losing to the Titans by 2 points, the Eagles destroying the Broncos, but then the week before that, the Eagles kept it within 3 points but lost, and the Saints kept it also within 3 points and lost. So I think this one's gonna be real close, but I think the Eagles are gonna take it.
I believe I will be another dissenter here. With Kamara probably back, I do not believe that the Eagles are any good. This isn't just my Giants homerism coming out and AFC East hate. I don't know any team that's done what they've done and completely revamped an offense. Like they went from a team that wasn't running the ball at all to start the year to one of the most run heavy teams in the league over like the last 4 weeks. And they have looked better, but they also, I feel like, really haven't like played anybody. And to your point, Derek, they've been real up and down in their results.
Oh, yeah.
So like I think beating the Broncos 30-3 doesn't really say. I think that says more about the Broncos than it does the Eagles. And Trevor Siemian has not been awful. And to Bryce's point, I can't believe they've gone over so many times. We all thought that they were just a terrible offense, but they've actually been competent. And with New Orleans back, or with Kamara back, I think they go into Philly and get a win. I think they're just the better team. They still have a good defense. So I think that New Orleans will be getting a victory on Sunday. All right, on to the next one.
Good. Need to make a little comeback.
I should have. What I should have done is had you guys go first on this one because I really wanted to give this stat at the end after you guys both picked Tennessee. The Tennessee Titans are averaging 4.4 yards per play this year, which puts them only ahead of Houston and the Jets for yards per play. They are an abysmal offense. I know they've gotten 2 big wins back-to-back weeks. And then their defense has been playing better. And I know Houston is absolutely...
And that's with Derrick Henry, right?
That's with Derrick Henry.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
I know that Houston's worse, obviously. But I really... Tennessee's going to lose at some point. And it's a divisional game. They're at home. I don't think this is the week. So even with that stat, I still think their 4.4 yards per play is slightly better than Houston's like 4.2 yards per play that they're putting up. But this has over or underwritten all over it. If Tennessee doesn't turn the ball over, I don't know if their offense can actually move the ball. And Tyrod was rusty clearly after coming back from injury, but I think he'll look better in this game. I think Houston keeps it close, but the losses are coming for Tennessee. They are not. They are a pretender at 8-2.
It's
Ooh,
I
ooh.
I I agree with you. I don't think it'll be this week. I think it'll be next week against the Patriots.
Yeah. 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 That's just no. That's
Is
it.
that it? Is
Yeah.
that
That's
okay?
it.
All
No,
right.
that's all I got. Yeah, just
Yeah.
taking Tennessee. It's not gonna
Yeah.
be this week. It'll be next week.
See, I thought what you were gonna do there was what I did with the Bears. So I thought you
Mhm.
were lean. I thought you were gonna go back and be like, I'm taking the upset, taking Houston. Probably be the biggest upset of the week, most likely. Um, with that said, is I do agree. I don't think Tennessee's 8-2 is. I don't think they're that good. I think they're a good team. I just don't think they're like the top of the AFC.
Yeah.
So, it is in Tennessee. I don't think Houston can do it. They're a bad football team, just bad. Like
Yeah.
probably the worst in the league. So
This is
I'm
another though. Take the points if you're betting the spread. Take whatever this balloons to. Take Houston and the points.
yeah.
Yeah, but then now it's gonna be 10-5. Like,
Right, that covers that. That's fine. That'll cover the
oh, so
spread.
yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
It does cover.
yeah, that covers. All right. Green Bay going to Minnesota. Minnesota coming off my pick of Minnesota going into LA and winning. Big win for them. That they needed a win after just losing all these close games week to week to week. So happy to see them finally get one. Green Bay played an ugly game against Seattle. Rodgers and Russ both looked like they had been off all year, not just a couple weeks. Green Bay giving 2.5. Vegas still has them as road favorites. Traditionally, I think Green Bay has gone into Minnesota and played pretty well. Aaron Rodgers should have shaken the rust off from last week. I don't really know if there's a ton of analysis. Green Bay's defense is legit. And I think we probably get back to Minnesota's close game losing ways. So I will be taking the Packers.
Yeah, I don't see Minnesota being able to. I think last week with both Russ and Rogers coming back, that was just like their cobweb game, basically, like shake off whatever they had, but they just didn't, because the rust got too strong while they were off for the weeks that they were off, even though Rogers was only off for like a single week.
He had a lot of
I don't.
stress lying
Yeah, true.
for a
He
while.
was
You know?
Twice.
he was under so much stress.
Yeah.
All
Very
those interviews
stressful.
he had to do.
Yeah.
So, I don't want to pick them, but I feel like Green Bay is going to handle Minnesota pretty easily.
2 for
So
2.
this is an NFC North matchup, and I think these two teams play good games, and they're usually pretty close for the most part. And I'm gonna take the upset here and take Minnesota.
Ooh. I like it.
Okay.
All right, on to Cincinnati visiting Vegas. I believe, Derek, the floor is yours.
Both of these teams don't look good anymore. Like, I don't know what happened. They started off fine. They were making some moves, making big plays, outscoring every game. And then Cincinnati, before going on a bye, gets destroyed. Was it 41-16 against the Browns? And then the Raiders losing to the Chiefs 41-14 last week. Even with like a struggling Mahomes and Casey offense, like this is such a huge toss up for me that like in my own pick'em, I have it as my 1 point game because I genuinely don't like. If I could choose to not pick either of these teams to win, I would choose neither of them to win. But I'm gonna go with Vegas just because like I'm leaning a bit towards they might be able to close out Cincinnati. But other than that, I don't really have much else to say about it. Like neither of these teams look good right now.
Yeah.
This game for me is a toss up. You can see either good Cincinnati, good Las Vegas, or you can see the opposite of both teams. I just hope they don't play terrible, because then who knows who will win. I think Las Vegas has lost a couple in a row, and they're trending downward. Cincinnati's still in play for their division, and it's a hard pick for me because I'm not sure who. And it's a 50. The over under is 50. I don't know if it gets there. Because like I said, if they play terrible, you saw how many points they put up. I'm gonna take Cincinnati.
Man, we're gonna have some dissension again. So yeah, to Derek's points, both teams bad losses. Obviously, since he had the bye to stew on it and think about it. I think even though Vegas is only 3-2 at home this year, I think that Vegas, especially for Cincy, a young team, I think that home field advantage might be more real, and that the distraction of being there for the week. I don't think Cincinnati's particularly well coached. I called it 4 weeks ago that I thought that they were overrated and pretenders. Jamar Chase, obviously a superstar. Joe Burrow has had some ups and downs this year. He should, he's obviously going to be a good quarterback. You can see that he's something special. And Vegas, they started hot and they let Patrick Mahomes get right against them in a divisional game that they probably should have kept closer. But I think that at home, I think Vegas is just going to be too much. And obviously Vegas, the sports books thinks that this is going to be a close game as well. But I just don't trust Cincy to go in there and get a win. So I will also
being 50 is a bit insane too.
I think
don't see this being a high scoring game at all.
No, I think it's going to be a shootout. I think both teams are going to be able to kind of score at will, but I just think Vegas will be able to edge them out slightly. All right. Arizona visiting Seattle. The floor is yours, Drizzle.
All right. So I got two interesting points from Arizona for their offense and their defense. On their offense on the road, they're scoring 34.8 points per game. Best in the NFL. Then also, over the last 3 games, the defense has been giving up 25 points per game. So, What happens here? Does Russ, DK, and Tyler finally put it back together? They've fallen off. They've gone down, and I think they're 20th in scoring this year. And I know Russ was out for a couple games, but they just haven't looked the same. Kyler is still an outside chance to play. Colt McCoy is, Colt McCoy. He's a backup. So this is in Seattle. Man, I don't know. Arizona's getting 2.5. I guess if Seattle plays how they played last week, Arizona's going to just dismantle them. But this could be a game. It's a division rivalry. And Seattle usually plays them pretty well. Though I think I'm going to take Arizona here. I don't like it, but I'm taking them.
Those are the best. Those are the best.
Yeah.
I don't know, Kyler said today that he was feeling better and that the progress is looking really good. That could mean that he's not coming back this week. I don't, because then they have the bye next week, right? So they might just take the risk and sit them one more, but I feel like they kind of need this win going to, at least try and secure closer to the playoffs. Like, that's I want to lean Seattle, but I feel like if Kyler plays, it's going to be Arizona. So I'm picking Arizona, but on my actual pick 'em, I'm probably going to wait until Saturday to make that decision. Because if Kyler doesn't play, then I'm probably going to take Seattle. But it's such a toss up right now because they haven't confirmed if he or Hopkins are playing. So it's a tough one. I'm taking Arizona, but hopefully, Kyler plays.
All right. So 2 for Arizona. So I think Kyler did practice. Hopkins did not today. So I don't know if, to your point, they bother starting either of them with the bye looming. And they've kind of lucked out that the Rams have lost the last two, so it hasn't really put any pressure on them, or at least not as much pressure on them for their lead in the division. Um, so I could definitely see a world where Kyler maybe practices this week but still doesn't start. And even if he does start, what are you getting at a 80%, 70% Kyler who's really probably not going to run, especially if his ankle is still bothering him. I think Russ that was the lowest point output of Russ's career. Uh, they looked like they were going to get shut out for most of that game. So I think Russ is embarrassed. I think the biggest problem for Seattle is Pete Carroll, unfortunately. Every time they talk about opening up the offense and letting Russ cook and bring in an offensive coordinator that Russ handpicked, essentially, they continue to just run the ball even without Chris Carson. I think they're going to have to score in this game, even if Colt McCoy plays, because their defense just isn't that good. But at home, I think Russ kind of figures it out a little bit here. Maybe cooks a little. I mean, I have Russ and DK in my keeper league. I would love for Russ to get into the kitchen and start cooking. So I will be taking Seattle. I actually feel pretty good about that. Maybe for a little teaser for the lock of the week there. I feel pretty good about Seattle. Even if Hopkins and Kyler play, I still think Seattle gets the dub. All right. Why did I not capitalize all of those letters? What am I doing?
Yeah, that
looked terrible. That's disgusting. I apologize. That's an affront to humanity there. All right. Dallas visiting KC in what could be a Super Bowl matchup for America's team. All those fake Dallas Cowboy fans out there. But Mahomes looked like he got it a little right last week. Dallas gets Gallup back, and the thing that intrigues me about Dallas, and I hate that I'm talking well about the Cowboys, is they can win in multiple ways. They can air it out. They have a great running game. They can put two tight ends and just run like 12-man personnel type packages, and it's just really hard to defend. And KC they hopefully have figured it out, and they're going to be the AFC West winners and kind of the dominant force in the AFC that everybody thought they'd be. 56 is a massive amount of points. This screams take the under to me. Because every time these games set up every year, it always feels like they disappoint, and both teams like play well defensively. And Dallas's defense, while they're not great, like Trayvon Diggs gives up big plays, but also is really opportunistic and will probably turn Mahomes over at least once. Casey's at home, and I don't know if I trust that they're fully right. It was the Raiders. So I will be taking the upset here, the road Dallas Cowboys, who also looked great against Tampa Bay. I think they take down the Super Bowl loser and get a good quality victory against the Chiefs.
Man, here's the thing. Me too. Like I don't know what is happening with the Chiefs. Like, are they back? Are they not back? I feel like this game will be the test.
Yeah.
Right? To see, like, because like you said, they played the Raiders last week. Like, of course, Mahomes, even at Mahomes' worst, he's still going to put up 41 points against the Raiders. Like, I think the Cowboys here are just the overall better team. So I'm picking them as well.
Yeah, I think the rest of the league better hope that wasn't a get right game against the Raiders.
Yeah.
Because if that's the case, then Kansas City, I mean, they're going to run away with the division. They're in first now. So, man, I just don't know if that was a get right game for them. Because, like you said, it was Las Vegas. Dallas is a good football team, though they didn't show up against Denver, but they showed up last week against Atlanta. I think it's too much in Kansas City though, and I think America's team loses.
Oh, I like it. I was really worried. So here's what I was worried about. I was worried that you were going to also pick Dallas because I thought I was going to be the only one on Dallas. And as soon as Derek picked Dallas, and then you started talking well about Dallas, I was really worried that we were all going to land on Dallas, and then they're going to get blown out by like 45.
Yeah.
But because you picked KC, at least it's going to be a close game now. And I
Yeah,
have
that's because that's how it works,
Yes,
right?
right. So I have hope that at least Dallas will have a chance to win now. So thank you for at least making it so I don't worry that Dallas gets blown out now. All right, Sunday night, Pittsburgh visiting the Chargers. Pittsburgh almost gave us all what we wanted to see, and that's a Detroit Lions victory, because that's really what we're all looking for, right, everybody?
Very close.
Right? We're all rooting for the Lions. We're all Lions fans now.
You know what? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I just want to see them get their win. You know?
Yeah. I want to see them go 0-17, but that's just me. Pittsburgh looked awful with Mason Rudolph, and the Chargers also have not looked great. It seems like Justin Herbert just been inconsistent. He started the year off just on fire, and either teams have figured him out or the play calling hasn't been as good, and he just isn't reading defenses. Maybe I don't know what his deal is. Austin Eckler seems to he's good for fantasy, but he just, like, the times that I've gotten to watch, just he hasn't looked as impactful as he did to start the year. Also, the Steelers always seem to let down when they're big home favorites, like they did with Detroit here last week. So I think even if Mason Rudolph starts, because we do have a chance that Big Ben comes back, and LA's run defense is like worst in the league in DVOA. So just like last week, I picked Minnesota because I thought Dalvin Cook would have a big day, and he did. I think Najee Harris is going to go and eat in LA. And I think that even if it's Mason Rudolph, he's not going to have to do a whole lot. So I will be taking Pittsburgh to wash the Detroit game, the taste of that game out of their mouths, and also go into LA and get a victory.
This is a tough one because, like, Ben's not coming back, and Rudolph just is not a good quarterback.
No.
Like, he's just not. So, like, if Ben plays, then I have a feeling Pittsburgh's going to take it. But because it's up in the air right now, I'm going to settle with being the differential here, and I'm going to take the Chargers.
Okay. Well, we don't know what Bryce is doing yet.
They're slightly more, I wouldn't say prepared, but it's like they're more well put together right now than Pittsburgh is.
Before I start this, you're making lowercase, and now you're putting 2 T's for Pitt. What are you doing?
I don't know what I'm doing.
That's fine.
I've got Halo on the brain, okay?
I can
He
tell.
just wants to play Halo,
I'm
man.
very, very distracted by the Halo.
So I think so. There's a chance that Ben will play, but he won't be practicing all week because he's still in quarantine. Mason Rudolph isn't very good. I do think the Chargers have been playing worse over the last 4 weeks. Their run defense, like you mentioned, is pretty terrible, or the worst. But I think it's at home, and I think it's a get right game for them. I think they're going to challenge KC for the crown of that division, and if they don't win this game, then they're going to lose. So I'm taking the Chargers.
If they don't win this game, then they're going to lose. That is some John Madden-esque insight right there.
Yeah.
Put that, yeah.
Put that on a shirt.
If they don't win this, if they don't score enough points,
but that's how you get the content rolling in.
They're going to lose the game.
You're welcome.
All right. Now it's my turn to be a homer. We get a wonderful Monday night matchup. The surging New York Giants coming off of a bye and off of a Raiders win the week prior. and a hopefully healthy Saquon. It looks like all signs point to him playing. Going into Tampa, Tampa's 11-point favorites, which is to be expected. I actually think when I looked 2 days ago, that line was 10. So in a day and a half, it's already moved a full point in Tampa's favor. Tampa got embarrassed by Washington. But that was in Washington. So I guess, you never know what happens with a team at home. As much as I love my Giants, and Danny Dimes is probably playing well enough to get an extension, unfortunately, I think going into Tampa, I just don't think that they're going to lose 2 weeks in a row to an AFC or an NFC East team that's god awful outside of the Cowboys. And the Giants are still banged up at receiver, even though that's Tampa's weakness. I think they won't be able to really run the ball. So I think Tom Brady's going to be pissed that he had a terrible game, probably throw like 9 touchdowns against the Giants. So I will be picking the Bucks. Don't you dare
you didn't feel the earth quaking after that loss in Washington. Just the absolute rage.
Yeah.
Flowing through Brady directly into the earth.
What I want to know is who pre-typed the Giants for me. That's what I want to know.
That.
Nope, that was not
me.
It was not me.
It was definitely you. I saw it.
Nope.
I saw you type it.
Nope, it wasn't me. That's ain't
It
it.
wasn't me.
No, yeah, I'm picking Tampa Bay as well. Last week was just was it both teams coming off a bye? One team? What? No, they both did, right? Yeah, they both came off a bye last week. And Washington probably just had like plenty of time to. They had quite a few years to go back on to watch all of the Brady tapes to really crack the puzzle on how to stay on top of that. But I don't see this being a Giants win here.
Unfortunate.
Giants are a bad football team. Tampa Bay wins by 40.
By
40. Go Birds.
So does that mean you're taking the over? You think the Giants can get 9.5?
Yeah.
Okay.
Easily.
All right. I will bet. You know what?
Danny Dimes always has something, he looks good for like a drive or two.
Yeah. I'll take your advice. I'll bet the over on that.
Okay, all right.
All right. Final part of the show here.
40.
Let's put our 40. Let's put our locks of the week. I'll let you guys go first.
So, I've been racking my brain because I'm going through these, and I'm just like, I'm only probably going to do this once. Even though I said non-biased opinion, they were going undefeated the rest of the season. My lock is San Fran against Jacksonville.
All right. And for those, we didn't really discuss this. I don't remember if we did it as part of the show. We're only going to pick the same team once. So it's basically kind of like an eliminator pool. So we can't reuse our picks for the rest of the year.
Yep. So last week I had Tennessee. This week I cannot pick Tennessee again. So I'm choosing San Francisco.
Bryce?
All right. So there's a lot of options here. Do I go against you guys with an odd pick here? I think I'm gonna double down. Minnesota.
Going with the Bears.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Minnesota. And only because they win and I get the lock, that's 2 wins right there.
That's true.
Against you guys.
That is true. So, that is a 2-point.
2 extra points.
A 2-pointer.
Yeah, it's not going to matter when the rest of your games are wrong that you're picking against us, though.
It's just going to help me not be as bad.
Yeah.
Look, if I lose 7 games again this upcoming week, man, I'm going to have to...
I might have to fire you.
Some tapes.
Yeah, you might have to.
I might have to
fire
you.
You might have to talk to me.
Yeah.
Like, just calm down with the upsets.
It's too many. It's too many. You're getting out of control. I believe that I don't want to wait like I did last week to the late games to see if I get my lock of the week right. I know I gave a little preview that I might be picking Seattle, and I still think that they are a decent pick this week. But my lock of the week is going to be the New England Patriots. Unfortunately, because I fucking hate Boston, but I will be picking the Patriots as my lock of the week. So hopefully I can start the week off with a W and highlight that bad boy green. So yeah, that is the show for this week. Hope everybody enjoyed it. Thank you guys for participating again. Our show next week might look a little different since Piccadilly will be out of town. So it might just be Drizzle and myself. And then we'll have Piccadilly's picks pre-populated and we can just shit all over them because he won't be here to defend himself as that's the best way to keep friends.
He's not really going out of town. It's just for the content. All right.
It's just, yeah.
I'm just taking a break. I'm just leaving for.
Rad wants you to get auto-picked.
Auto-picked?
Oh my god.
You just have to take all the Vegas favorites.
Yeah.
And next thing you know, that goes undefeated.
Right?
Oh my god.
That's terrible.
All right. Well, I think we're all itching to play some Halo. So I'm going to transition out of the whole NFL mode and we will be swapping over to Halo. But yeah, thanks again, guys, for participating.
Thank you for having me.